Hello everybody. It is Wednesday, the 22nd of February. I want talk one more time about this question, will Jesus come to save us? Because if I hear one more seemingly rational person saying that, I'm going to scream. I was watching a video yesterday, and well done man, somebody in Switzerland who's taking officialdom to court in a criminal case. Good for him, about what happened in the last 2 years. Good for him. And even he was saying then, in the end of the interview, after we went all the down-to-earth stuff that he's doing, which is necessary. But even then, he said there are spiritual forces at work. Yes, absolutely, and they're very strong, and they're getting stronger. And then he says, he is a Christian, call on Jesus. And I was sitting there thinking, dear God, does nobody understand what actually happened in that book? Do not call on Jesus. These forces work through us. They don't only work through us, and there is the thing, they also create us. Whilst they are working through us, we're becoming that. We are becoming that, and we're then receiving according to what we have become. Whatever we let work through us, we will become that. Those are the spiritual forces at work. That is, our energies are getting stronger. It is working through us. All the teachings that are out there are creating man. They are forming man into a certain creature. I've been through the garden. I've been looking at different teachings. And for some reason, alchemy came up in my suggestion boxes. I'm not going there. But it came up. And in alchemy, it shows actually so clearly what these things do. When the alchemists talk about forming or transforming base metal into gold, and they used esoteric language. That means that it is understood only by those that have the keys, the meaning to the words. They understand what the alchemists are actually talking about. You are the base metal that has been transformed into gold through that teaching, through that way of thinking. You become. And then, yes, you will receive again according to what you become. And there's a thing, if you were to go into, if you go into alchemy thinking you're going to have a pile of metal, gold lying there, yes, you're wrong for starters. But here's the thing, if you wanted to go into alchemy, you would actually need to know from the beginning what was the alchemist's vision of a perfect human being? Because that is what the teaching is creating, their vision of a perfect human being. And you would really need to know what that vision was before you even go down that path, because you will become that. You will be the outcome. And in fact, all of us, I think we're running into these things blindly. We do not understand that we are going to be the outcome. Now, Jesus understood that very much so. He absolutely did. And he was going to change the world by changing himself. Yeah? He would sacrifice self, because self is made out of many different parts. We have a lot of different spiritual energies, what I talked before, angels. They have different purposes. They do different works through us. And it is not that we are their master. It is through our understanding that we know which spiritual force we should use at what given moment. And to me, the highest intention is to save life, to aid life, to do according to the will of the Father of this world, that is this world. It's the giver of life, the sustainer of life, and not just human life, but all life. The life that is in all. No matter what level of consciousness it is on. You know, your cactus is not on the same level of consciousness as you, but it's still to be sustained because it is life. So, Jesus understood that through the way we think, through that we are the ones that are becoming. He understood that. And he understood that he would become something that in his vision, in his mind, would save the world. Yeah? Not only by him becoming it, but give it to everybody, you know, make everybody become that, or at least those that would follow me. Maybe his vision wasn't even for all, I don't know. Maybe it was misinterpreted. But, and I really think what happened in the New Testament is a self-experiment. He experimented on himself by becoming that and by creating an outcome. Now, folks, we know the outcome of his action. The knowledge of that was given to us. It is the book of Revelation. That was the outcome. This experiment was a complete and utter failure. It created death and destruction as the outcome. A world that is at war, a world that is that has pestilences, and not only a world that has pestilences, but where people, witnesses, men will create those things as often as they like. That is the outcome of his action. He created this. His thinking created this. It's a failure. It failed. It is not the way. Well, not we all trample on that way anyway. So coming back to this, because no, let me first deny yourself. That is, you let go of all other spiritual knowledge. You let go of fear. You let go of anger. You let go of... That is spiritual knowledge. Those are spiritual forces that work through you, that are a part of you, to make up a whole human being. But you deny those and you become just compassion. And in that state you can work healing. You can alleviate suffering, anything that pertains to suffering. Again, it is a knowledge of how this matrix really works. Miracles are the way that this matrix really works. And yes, it does work if you become just compassion, that would happen. Or at least it's something we should believe on. That we should believe on, but that is a narrow part of what we are. And it fulfills just that one function of healing, of alleviating suffering. But in that state, we are extremely vulnerable. Extremely vulnerable. Because we let go of the other spiritual knowledge. We no longer know danger. We've done away with fear. We no longer know danger. We've done away with anger, which means we have let go of any kind of sense of justice. We are in an extremely vulnerable state. at that moment. And to say that that can be all completely denies reality. It is a denial of reality. Because there is danger. And there is justice. And there needs to be balance. Again, if we're all healed, we all live forever, what will that do to the rest of nature? There needs to be some sort of balance. But we lose sense of all of those things if we just become one thing. And again, going back to that very rational guy in Switzerland, talking about spiritual forces and then saying, yeah, Jesus. No. Jesus became, and that failed. If we all become that, we will fail because it is not all. But if you see what these people are doing, you see that there's different spiritual forces at work through those people. Compassion is most definitely one of them. You know, you have compassion for those that suffer. And you should forgive them because, again, they were driven into this by the wrong usage of fear, by an artificially created fear. It was not their natural spiritual force, but it was artificially created. So we should forgive them, yes. And we should be in compassion for them, yes. But if they file lawsuits and stuff like that, there are other spiritual forces at work. There is fear, because there is fear of a perceived outcome that we want to avoid. Again, we see the danger of what is coming if this goes ahead. And that creates fear, and it's good. Shouldn't overcome us, but it is good. Because that is our sense of danger, and through that we see that there is even danger. There's a spiritual force of anger, which is a sense of justice, and that is also a spiritual force that is at work at the moment. That's Michael. That is also a spiritual force that is working through us right now. Anger, which means that we have a sense of injustice. We know there is injustice. We know there is danger. You let go of those things, you no longer even know it. I mean, you're walking through the world like an idiot. Like everything is hunky-dory and everything is fine, and yeah, here I'm floating. And the world is a pink fluffy place, and it is not. That is denial of reality. But the fact is that we have been given spiritual forces to deal with these things. Now, the only way that, and it's not Jesus that is coming to serve us, to save us, but the knowledge. The only way the knowledge can save us is, first of all, if we understand that it is not all. Compassion is not all. It cannot do all. But we understand that compassion, being the fullness of compassion, and maybe, yes, at that moment denying everything else. For that moment, don't become that. But for that moment, denying everything else and believing on the alleviation of suffering in whatever form it takes, that we will be given because we have become that which is given, and you give it to somebody else. There is another limitation of compassion, and that is that other needs to receive it. Their door must be wide open to receive the compassion. And if they are not in repentance, if they don't feel the need to for a correction, they don't see themselves wrong, they don't see there is something wrong, they have they don't feel the need for healing because they think they are perfect as they are, then there's nothing your compassion can do. So for us to become truly spiritual beings, first of all, we must understand the spirits that work through us, all of them. We must understand what they are doing. And that compassion is only for healing, and that is not all that this world is about. There is danger, there is injustice, as below, so above, apparently. And funnily enough, people seem to know that. Yeah? We're talking about that there are spiritual beings or beings without body that are actually quite nasty. We know that. But then our own spiritual forces need to be a defense against them. And compassion is not it. Not if they don't want to change. So, no, whatever Jesus' vision was of we're all going to be lovey-dovey and in compassion, and compassion becomes all, we would be the most vulnerable creatures in the universe. Yeah? And this world would be overtaken and ruled over, because we would no longer have the strength of our other spiritual forces, of our armies to defend us, which are Michael, which is the sense of justice, which is Satan, which is the knowledge of danger, and the strength and the forces that come out of them to serve us. So, first of all, do not look for something outside of yourself. Whatever is happening inside of yourself. That is what those teachings do. They create you. And it will work through you. And know that we are more than just one thing. Know that compassion has got a very specific works. And it cannot be all. And then let us become fully spiritual beings in the fullness of what we are capable of being, and be whatever we need to be in the situation. And do not wait for Jesus to come and save you, dear God, please. His vision has failed. This is the outcome. He went into a self-experiment. He understood this whole process, and he became. And this is the outcome. And it is death and destruction. That is because the restraining force, like Satan, can actually work good. In order to restore balance, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. And compassion cannot take away. But it is a function that needs to be done in order to restore balance. Anyway, I leave it at that for today. Please like and share my videos. And if you can, please donate to my channel. The donate button is in the corner of my homepage. I leave it at that for today, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.